Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about the Golden State Warriors. We're going to talk about how they ended up or how they were able to beat the Rockets in Game 7, what the deciding factors were, how they were essentially able to limit Houston's offense. Let's go. The first thing I think is important to highlight is that the Warriors forced this game to be played at their pace. They played an extremely slow game. In the fourth quarter especially, we saw them go down to the end of the shot clock quite a bit. Even in the first half where they weren't really making shots, they forced the game to be extremely slow. But this, I think, is the crucial aspect right here. As soon as Fred VanVleet gets this ball in transition, Steph Curry is immediately on him. He is not coming back here to play defense back here. He is on him up here, which forces Fred VanVleet to go sideways. Going sideways is going to make it so he can't see Thompson and Green flying downhill, who are their best athletes far and away. Steph is forcing Fred to be distracted essentially with him and allowing the rest of Golden State defense to recover. The Rockets' best offense is their transition, and the Golden State did an excellent job of limiting that in Game 7. If we look at the pace of Game 5, which is how many possessions they get through 48 minutes, 97. That's a lot of possessions. The Houston was playing fast, were able to get those transition points. Game 6, the exact same story, 98.6, even faster in Game 5. If we go to Game 7, 88, 88.7. Golden State was able to force this game to be played at the speed that they wanted it to be played instead of at the speed that Houston wanted it to be played, which is why we saw such low scores going into the fourth quarter. But then on defense, the Golden State Warriors, no matter what their specific defense was on ball screens or whatever, the concept was the same. They wanted to help on every single drive by Thompson, Green, Sengun. They wanted to provide help and make sure you got nothing easy at the rim. Okay, Green goes to drive right here. Draymond. He is nowhere near Sengun. He is stepping up, says, Green, you are going to face two defenders the moment you come anywhere near the paint. And that's what they did. And because the refs allowed contact, Draymond played a tremendous game. All right, again, here, first off, is an opportunity for transition potentially. But we can see immediately Hield is right here, making sure Thompson doesn't have anything going downhill. And we can see Draymond lurking in the background, ready to provide help, as well as the Warriors swarming to make sure they get no opportunities from there. Okay, so then Golden State is able to reset and make sure they have their defense. At this point, Fred VanVleet beats Podziemski. That's fantastic. Who's going to be there? Draymond. 100% of the time, he says you get anywhere near the rim, he is stepping up right there. And this is the beautiful thing about Draymond, is he is able to judge so effectively to be able to come up here and threaten Fred VanVleet with contesting a shot, but also be able to stay home to who his original man was. He's able to react with unbelievable efficiency and just play tremendous defense, making sure either way you're not getting a good shot at the rim. And even towards the end of the game, in crucial moments, Houston obviously needs baskets and baskets quick. The Warriors didn't mind whoever was guarding on the perimeter because even if Podziemski is get beat by Thompson, which he's going to a lot, they have trust that they're going to have help on the backside because Draymond, Looney played so well. Butler, Hield, they all played so great a defense that Podziemski knows he has help, stays physical, stays in front, and is able to contest shots like this. And even on this drive right here, when Thompson spins back to the left, without help, I think he would have a much better shot right here. But Draymond simply stepping up, sliding over right here, gets in Thompson's field of view, knows he can't go straight this way, has to fade away a little bit, and that makes the shot much more difficult. And taking 5 percentage points off a shot like that is the difference between a good shooting night and a moderate shooting night or a bad shooting night. And the second point I want to talk about is actually something that's counterintuitive to what the broadcast argued via the stats. They highlighted that Sengun and Adams, when on the floor together, were essentially plus a huge amount in the game. I think that this is extremely flawed because it's looking at small sample size, so there's a stat plus 39 in the minutes they've played together. But it's a small sample size. I think it's indicative of a lot of other people, and I don't think it was at all accurate in this game. I think the minutes with Sengun and Adams were some of the worst minutes the Rockets had because the Warriors still went small if they wanted to and were able to provide help off of two players now. Now you have Sengun and you have maybe three players either. You have Şengün, Adams, and Thompson, who are all not going to shoot on the perimeter, and that gives so much freedom to Jimmy, to Draymond, to Looney, to Kuminga to provide help. So here we can see we have 2 on the ball right here, and they're just not guarding Thompson over here. Steph is shading over, make sure Şengün doesn't have down, and this is the whole Warriors game plan, is force difficult shots and not let Fred VanVleet or Brooks shoot on the perimeter. I mean, that their basic game plan. Okay, right there we have no problem having Jimmy play Adams one-on-one because Adams not known as a super great post-up player, and that is a shot the Warriors 100% are okay with shooting. And it's not like Adams and Şengün weren't able to get offensive rebounds. They still got similar amount of offensive rebounds per game. It's just Golden State was better able to limit those shots. Again, transition, Steph is back early. Make sure Fred VanVleet doesn't have anything going downhill, isn't able to find one of the athletes in transition. As this drive happens, Steph gets beat slightly. Kuminga, guarding Adams, is already over there. And then Warriors are going to be like, oh, we'll just help behind it. Okay, so maybe you could have said you could have passed that earlier, but because Adams isn't great near the post, they were okay with that, and Fred VanVleet wasn't able to get it to him. Drive happens. Who's there? Again, Kuminga steps up immediately. And this time, Dillon Brooks does try and pass it over. But Kuminga, again, aware of that, plays this very, very well. Stops there to make sure Dillon Brooks knows he's going to have a double if he keeps driving, but is able to stay on his toes, stay athletic, and get a piece of this ball as it's being passed to Adams. This is 100% what the Warriors were banking on, and they did a tremendous job of it. Almost the exact same situation, this time with Butler on Adams. This is the thing, you're okay with Kuminga and Butler and Green because they're playing great defense behind it regardless of which one is on Adams. Curry gets beat, Butler steps up, and everyone in the Warriors comes down. Not going to guard Thompson on the perimeter. You got to stay attached to VanVleet, but that's it. But everyone else is not going to be able to shoot, or they're already in the inside. Force difficult shots on the inside. And yeah, Dillon Brooks makes that sometimes, but they were banking he was going to make that less and less the more help you provide. And then finally we get to the zone that the Warriors played quite a bit of. And I actually don't think the zone was super significant, which is why we're only going to talk about it 2 plays. I think it was just kind of symbolic of the larger feature that the Warriors were trying to do. The zone essentially just gives them an opportunity to play help early, in my opinion. It just allows this middle person to cheat one way or the other, allows Draymond to stay near the rim one and prevent anything at the rim. And so in this, I'd say the biggest aspect is it forces the Rockets to eat quite a bit of shot clock and, again, forces them to slow down the pace like we kind of talked about earlier. And you can see the Rockets don't really have a clear game plan of what they're trying to do. They're just kind of moving it back and forth, unsure. And I think this is crucial right here. The Warriors just switch this, make sure somebody has a hand up in Dillon Brooks' face. And you can see the Rockets are unclear of what to do and kind of get an uncontested shot, but definitely not the shot inflow of the offense they're looking for. Again, we see the zone, and it's kind of like somewhere between a 1-3-1 and a 2-3 zone, or frankly, even just like man-to-man where they just didn't have a whole lot of responsibilities guarding the non-shooters. And so as this ball gets inbounded, we see immediately Hield's going to help over because they know that they're going to be able to rotate behind and have a hand up on Brooks. And so this is why I think it's just an excuse for them to ignore Thompson over here and have Buddy Hield help over. Like, that's essentially the concept that's happening right here. They're phrasing it as a zone, but really it's just ignoring non-shooters. And so they're loosely saying, Fred VanVleet, where are you going to go? And we're going to leave a player on the perimeter open and force these difficult shots across. And they know that these are the ones they're leaving open. Like, Moody knows that he's leaving this player over here. I think the Rockets might have set this up out of a timeout too because Steven Adams is blocking here. But Moody is aware that this is the area he just left. And so on this pass, he's going to turn to close out. And these are the shots that the Warriors are trying to live with. Even if Tari Eason's a decent three-point shooter, they're saying our priority is going to be take away the rim and force you to beat us on the perimeter if that's the route you're going to get, because the Rockets didn't shoot many threes, haven't shot many threes, and that stayed consistent. So in reality, Hield's going to get the praise probably for shooting, or I don't know, they'll give it to Steph or something like that. But what I think really won the game is effective defense by all 5 starters. Hield played great defense, Draymond played great defense, Steph, Jimmy, Podziemski all played really, really good defense, and Moody and Looney off the bench also play really good defense, and that, I believe, is what won Golden State this game. And I look forward to seeing what the Timberwolves versus Warriors series holds for us. If you enjoyed, feel free to like and subscribe. And most importantly, have a blessed rest of your day.